Welcome back, folks, to another exclusive audio piece right here for the YouTube channel for NXTwrestling.net. Wherever you guys want to listen to it, we're going to try to cram everything into Wrestle Rant Radio on Thursday, but the show is too big. We got to do two separate shows. WrestleMania weekend is just way too exciting to cram into one show, so we're doing it separate. We got Mr. Marceau joining me here today for NXT TakeOver New Orleans previews and predictions. RJ, what's going on, brother?
It's doing good, GSM. How are you?
So, I'm doing great. Well, obviously, you've gone from the senior women's divas columnist for Next Era to the SmackDown senior columnist to now what I would like to call the NXT senior columnist here on Wrestle Rant Radio. It seems like you are the NXT expert. We've gone to multiple takeovers together, NXT house shows. You know everything there is to know about NXT, and are you ready for TakeOver on Saturday?
I'm fucking pumped for Saturday. I don't know what it is. I just think this show's going to be the best one so far. I think top to bottom, the card's stacked, and it's going to be a great show.
Wow, RJ. I tweeted out a couple weeks ago that I think there's a chance we can get every title changing hands here in the show. And I tweeted as such. I said, if that does happen, this could very well be the greatest takeover of all time. And you debated me on that. You said that was a lofty claim, so now you're agreeing with me.
I just think it's a lofty claim saying it's the best ever. Like, you're like, it could be, but, like, I don't know, like, I don't like the precursor how great a show's going to be.
I agree.
On Sunday, like, Sunday show looks great on paper, and it could be terrible. It could be kind of like WrestleMania 32. So, I'm not going to say it's going to be the greatest show, but on paper it has the potential to be one of, if not the best. They never really had a bad show to begin with. The early ones are kind of a little rough around the edges. Just matches weren't the greatest, but they still had some great shows, but I think this Saturday night's takeover is going to be really good.
I think so. The last couple takeovers have been fucking fire. I mean, all the takeovers, like you said, they really have not had a bad one yet, which is really phenomenal considering the fact we've had takeovers for 4 years now, dating back to Arrival in February of 2014. Seen every single one. I have yet to have a takeover end and me think, wow, that was a waste of my time, like with a lot of the main roster pay-per-views. But that has never happened with a takeover. This card on paper is just woof. Like, I don't know what else to say other than that, because this pay-per-view, this live special, whatever you want to call it, is just a banger from top to bottom. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. Like I said, the last couple takeovers, Brooklyn 3 was outstanding. War Games was wonderful. The one that we were at, Philly, was great too, so I'm sure this one will be no exception. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. How can we start with anything else but the unsanctioned match between Johnny Gargano, and the Psycho Killer, Tommaso Ciampa? So if Gargano wins here, he gets his job back. If he doesn't, he's banned from the black and yellow brand forever. So, RJ, what's going on here? The feud's been going on for almost a year. The build has been beautiful. Just a masterpiece. The match is going to kill it. It very well might steal the weekend. Not even the show. The entire weekend. RJ, your 2 cents.
Yeah, this probably one of the matches I'm looking forward to most the whole weekend, even WrestleMania. Like I said, they've been building this for a while, especially with their breakup with the tag team. It was at NXT Chicago, and then Ciampa got hurt, so they kind of like drawed it out, and then he finally came back and screwed him at NXT Philly when we were there. Or didn't screw him, but tapped him after, and then screwed him with the rematch against Almas on NXT TV. But the build has just been amazing. They've had Gargano like go to Full Sail and try to get at him. They had that video on YouTube with him at his house, and then Ciampa like, what are you gonna do about Regal? And it's like unsanctioned match. If he wins, he gets his job back. If banished for life. So I think the match is gonna be really good. I hope since it's unsanctioned, I hope they like not like I want a little like backstage brawl maybe. Like I don't want everything to happen in the ring. Like if it's unsanctioned, the fight should go anywhere. Like shouldn't have any limit. So I think these two guys, they're capable of having a great match in ring wise, but with an unsanctioned stipulation, it should be fucking amazing. Like I said, go throughout the whole arena, Smoothie King arena, dump some Smoothie Kings on someone's head. I don't know what's gonna happen, but the match is gonna be great. I think Ciampa's gonna win, so then Gargano would be banished from NXT. But I'm assuming he's gonna get called up to either 205 Live or the main roster is so fucking over. He would have to get covered. Not gonna fucking release the guy. So, but I have Ciampa winning on this one.
What? You don't think Gargano's gonna go to Ring of Honor or Impact? I'm shocked.
There's no fucking way. No way. No.
Could you imagine Monday? We wish Johnny Gargano on the best of his future endeavors. It's like we don't want you anymore. You're not over enough. You're too wrestling for me. Too Swiss. Too wrestling. for WWE. But no, I got to agree. Ciampa's going over here. I could see Gargano winning, but I don't know. Not that it's predictable. I mean, really, with anyone on this card with NXT, it comes to a point where no matter who wins, I'm happy regardless, and that's just the beauty of NXT, where they book everyone so well that it doesn't matter who wins for a lot of these matches, but in a good way. With this one, same thing. The build has been beautiful, but it's like, first of all, this feels like a feud ender. So for those saying this will be the first of a few matches, which I guess it could be, but like, you don't start with an unsanctioned match. Like, that's the thing. You don't do a series of matches and then start with the match where if he loses, he's gone forever. Like, that's where it ends. So I would assume they would have saved this for TakeOver Brooklyn, but obviously they're doing it right out of the gate. They want to do it for TakeOver New Orleans, and that's fine. The match should be amazing. I agree. I mean, given the stipulation, they should go all out for this thing. Go all around the arena, have them wear the street clothes like Punk and Jericho did a couple years ago. Like, make this feel like a real fight. And everything about the stuff on TV, to even the Twitter stuff. Like, Tommaso's a fucking savage on Twitter towards Johnny Wrestling, but the YouTube videos where Johnny's like going after Tommaso in the car, everything about this build has been great, on and off screen. So I have no doubt that the match is going to be just a blowaway bout at the, probably, I mean, we said this a couple months ago, that with Gargano and Ciampa, they either main event the show or they start the show. Do you maintain, RJ, that they kick off TakeOver on Saturday?
Yeah, I think they're gonna kick out. They have to kick off the show on Saturday. I think you should always keep the title match for the end. It's the biggest prize, so you got to keep it the biggest, most see main event. So I would kick off the show. It's so the show amazing.
Especially considering that the chances of the title changing hands, the main title, which we'll talk about soon enough, I would keep that as the main event. I mean, we've had main events before that weren't for the NXT title with the NXT Women's Championship. We had the tag titles main event at least once, the War Games match back in November, but I think Andrade and Black have earned that spot in the main event, so I would keep it as is. But I agree. I think this is not a match where you do it second to last or even the middle of the show, because I feel like whatever's going to come after it will be fucked. And even if it's like the women or the tag title match, which you know are all going to be great regardless, I feel like this would set the tone in a major way for the remainder of the show if they had them kick off tonight. So I've got Ciampa as well. We move from there to the NXT Women's Championship. We got a rematch from TakeOver Philly. Ember Moon taking on Shayna Baszler. We said it at the time, I mean, with NXT, they do a better job of rehabbing some people than the main roster does. Usually when it happens on the main roster, when they don't win their first shot and they get their second shot, they don't feel as hot. Baszler still has a lot of momentum right now. So we said it the first time that we thought she would win. She didn't. I was shocked. But Ember Moon, they wanted to give her a longer reign, and that's fine, but I do think this is the night we get a new NXT Women's Champion in Shayna Baszler. What do you think, RJ?
Yeah, I think the same. Like I said, Baszler's kept her heat pretty well, especially coming off the loss. It was kind of, I think the way they booked her, just like kind of like a faulty loss. Like, the way she lost wasn't really like she got beat, pinned. It was kind of like one of those, I'm pretty sure she had her in submission, and then she kind of just got rolled up on. It wasn't like she was like incapacitated or anything. So Baszler still looked strong in defeat, and then beat the living hell out of her after the match. I think it's her time to win. Ember Moon's kind of not done everything, but like, who else she gonna face? Like, the iconic duo, like she's already faced them. And I think it's just Baszler's time. Ember Moon will probably get called up to the main roster. Not really sure what they do with her. I think so, totally off topic of the match, but I think they've called up so many women. Like, what are you gonna do with her too? Like, they called up Riot, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, and then DeVille and Rose. Like, what are you gonna do for the Ember Moon? There's plenty of women on the main roster they don't use now. So what the fuck they gonna do with Ember Moon? But we'll see. But if she loses, I don't want them to do like a rematch for the title. I'd rather just, or if they do, maybe on NXT TV. But the next program should definitely be Baszler versus Kairi Sane. I think that's kind of already written in stone. But I don't want to say their match from NXT Philly was like bad. I wouldn't say it was the greatest women's match ever. So it was just kind of like, it was just one of those like boring matches for me. I think the match was great. I think it was terrible, but it was kind of like just kind of there. Hope this match is a little bit better, but I think it's gonna go over.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really more so a match as much as it was an angle, I thought. If you rewatch the match, I agree. Like, the match itself wasn't great. I thought it told a really good story in the second half. But those final few minutes were great with the teases of the tap out from Ember Moon. I thought that was awesome. But beyond that, as a match, it wasn't that great. I don't expect this to be a blockbuster, not in the same way that, like, Bayley and Sasha Banks was, or Charlotte and Natalya. I think if they go for a different story here, it's going to be at least a little bit better than the Philly match. And I think that's what they got to do. If they go for a straightforward match like they did the last time, I don't think it's going to be that good. But if you do something similar to, maybe not an exact copycat or a repeat, but like Lesnar and Cena, where Baszler like dominates Ember Moon, and that's how she takes the title, by just killing her for like 15 minutes, and then she wins the championship that way, and Ember Moon is protected, maybe she doesn't tap out or whatever. They did something similar with Zayn and Owens a couple years ago. They could take that formula, apply it here, new champion. I agree though, also with Ember Moon being called up, I don't know what you would do, as you said, RJ. I know there was a rumor that was kind of overlooked. I had seen someone talk about it on Twitter. It hasn't picked up any steam since then, but I know there was a rumor that by SummerSlam we could get women's tag team titles, which, if they're on different shows, the women both on Raw and SmackDown, I don't know how that would work. There's not enough women where there's like that. It warrants doing a tag team title, not in the same way where you pitched it a couple years ago. We had one giant women's division, which it would have worked then. Not so much now. I know they have like fucking 20 factions with the women, but I just don't think that would work. That's my 2 cents. But getting back on topic here, I do think Baszler walks out NXT Women's Champion. So you think the next program after TakeOver will be Baszler and Kairi Sane?
I think you have to do it after that. What else would you do?
So if it's Zayn, I could see Sane being groomed for the spot that Ember has now. Now they just released a few other women. I forgot what their names were. They were in the Mae Young Classic last year. They weren't really on TV at all. Dakota Kai is a name that comes to mind. I mean, if Ember Moon is going up, and probably the Iconic Duo, I don't want to see them stick around. They have been long overdue for a main roster call-up. If those 3 women are likely to be called up after WrestleMania, who do you fill in that slot for Ember Moon and the Iconic Duo that we've kind of sort of seen on NXT TV and the women, but haven't really been like prominently featured? Look at Dakota Kai. We've seen her before, but she's not like a fixture yet in the women's division.
I think she's probably one of those people you'd fill in there. They kind of like try to put Lacey Evans, which I could give 2 shits about. Yeah. But Bianca Belair as well. They haven't really seen her on TV that often, but I think Dakota Kai is definitely what they're looking like, one of the next bigger baby faces that they're going to try to push.
I also just completely forgot off the top of my head, because she hasn't wrestled yet, but Candice LeRae makes complete sense as like the next top babyface of that brand, because she has breakout babyface potential written all over her. So I could see Johnny Gargano getting called up, and she stays down in NXT for a little while longer. So there's her, like you said, Bianca Belair. Vanessa Bourne, she's not that good yet, but maybe she could be something at some point. So they have the talent there, and they also have some other women to pick up. On a side note, how the hell have they not signed Tessa Blanchard? I am shocked.
Maybe it's not it's the cards ain't right now.
And maybe at some point, I don't know. I was surprised she got knocked off in the first round of the Mae Young Classic, let alone wasn't signed. But maybe at some point, especially now that her boyfriend's in NXT. But I don't know, maybe at some point down the road. But speaking of which, I guess we'll go to that. And I'll save that for second to last, because that seems like it's the most unpredictable match in the card. After that, we'll go to the tag team title match. And also the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. 2-for-1 special here, with the Undisputed Era's Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole filling in for an injured Bobby Fish, taking on the Authors of Pain, and Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. So it was supposed to be Strong and Dunne in the finals. The Authors of Pain got interrupted on Wednesday, and here we are, 3-way tag team title matchup for the titles and the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic trophy. RJ, who do you got going over here? And also, you got to mention your fantasy booking scenario that you mentioned to me over text, which I thought was perfect.
So I think this match is gonna be. I think this match is gonna be really good. I think all 3 teams have the potential to have a really good match. I think Undisputed Era has to go over. AOP's main roster bound. I'm shocked they haven't. We were shocked that after Brooklyn 3 they weren't going up. Mm-hmm. So I'm still shocked they're still down in NXT, but I think either Raw or SmackDown could use them, especially Raw. Raw really doesn't have any fixture tag teams, really. Like the Revival, but they're not really pushing them. Doesn't seem like they're really going to do much with them, so got to push someone on Raw. So I would say you'd probably have to go with AOP there. And then Dunne and Strong, they're kind of just like a makeshift. They're both single guys. They just didn't really have. I guess you could have put Roddy in the 6-man tag in the North American title ladder match, but I guess they thought putting him with Dunne was a better idea. But I don't know. I just think like Undisputed Era has to win in this match. They're still fucking over as hell. All three guys are pretty good. I think O'Reilly more over because he's just more charismatic than Fish is. Fish is kind of just there. I feel like, but he's still a good wrestler. But with Cole filling in, I think they're gonna win. I just think it could do like Strong turn on Dunn because kind of like they had their little beef, and then months ago they were teasing Strong joining the Undisputed Era, and nothing really came out of it. He just denied that, and then just fought them and did the War Game stuff. But I think they could have him turn on Dunn, join the Undisputed Era since Fish is out right now, and just have him and O'Reilly be a tag team for the foreseeable future. But I think that'd be great. Even when Fish came back, he could still be a member, depending on if they're still in NXT. But I have Undisputed Era going over with, and then if they have Strong turn on Dunn next takeover, they could do Strong versus Dunn for the title again.
I think that's perfect. I think with the Undisputed Era, now that we're getting more titles in the group, or in an NXT, I think it would be cool if all the members of part of the group went for championships. Like Adam Cole's going for the North American Championship. I forgot the name. We'll talk about that in a second. He's going for that belt on the show as well. It would be cool if he went for the main belt, Roddy went for the mid-card belt, and they held the tag team titles. Like, I think that'd be pretty sweet if they had that dichotomy there with all the members holding championship gold, maybe at some point down the road. But, like, if Strong loses here, like, let's say Strong and Dunn lose, not to say that they'll win, but, like, if nothing happens, like, where do they go? Where does their unlikely alliance lead? I know they were just put together because Mustache Mountain or the British Strong Style, whatever tag team they were hurt. Tyler Bate was hurt. I think he's clear to compete now. I think he's good to go. I saw him I think he's wrestling at Axis over this weekend, so he's good to go. But I had texted you. I think that could lead to like an Undisputed Era versus British Strong Style 6-man tag team match, maybe for the belts at the next takeover. That would be one thing to do. But yeah, I think I like Cole filling in for Fish right now. As opposed to taking the belts off of Undisputed Era altogether. They've been killing it in recent months. It would be still, in my opinion, too soon to take the titles off of them. There's still so much talent in that tag team division that we've yet to see the Undisputed Era go up against. From TM61, the Street Profits, even Heavy Machinery, and a few other tandems as well. I feel like it's just way too soon. You mentioned like some loose ends that weren't really like you said, the Roddy Undisputed Era thing that wasn't really tied up late last year. Whatever happened to the rematch between Sanity and Undisputed Era for the NXT Tag Team titles? They were teasing a rematch. They went for a rematch a few times, but nothing ever came of it. They had a rematch, and then it was like interrupted, or it never happened, or whatever. And that feud just kind of dissipated. They had like a 6-man tag team match that Sanity won, but that was it. So I don't know whatever really happened to that and why, or where Sanity stands, because they're not on the show except for Killian Dane in the ladder match, but anyway, this should be a great match. Nonetheless, I have Undisputed Era as well. I don't think Roddy will turn, but it would be awesome if he did. But we are on the same wavelength there with Undisputed Era emerging victorious, still the NXT Tag Team Champions. So I mentioned the ladder match. You talk about a star-studded 6-man ladder match, the inaugural NXT North American Championship. This is one of those fucking matches that you put in WWE 2K18 with the cause, with the creative wrestlers, because there are people in this match. I don't think any of these people are in the video game except for maybe, I think
Killian Dane, maybe.
Killian Dane, maybe. I think Killian Dane might be in the game, and I think Lars Sullivan might even be DLC. But beyond that, all these people, EC3, new. Ricochet, new. Adam Cole, new. Velveteen Dream, new. A lot of star power here. It's ridiculous. You have a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion in EC3, former 3-time ROH World Champion in Adam Cole, former Lucha Underground Champion in Ricochet, Prince Puma, whatever. Lars Sullivan, a homegrown talent. Killian Dane, great competitor. Velveteen Dream, homegrown talent. They have a lot of talent in this one matchup. RJ, where do you go with this, and is there really any one wrong winner here?
Classic GSM giving me the fucking tough one starting out. I think the only person, if they won, I'd be like, I wouldn't be pissed, but I'd be like, why? Probably Killian Dane. Like, I understand what they see in him, but I just don't think he needs a title. Like, I think he'd be the one person, like, why? But like I said, the fucking match is stacked. I think the favorite to win has to be Ricochet. I think he's the biggest name out of everyone in the match. Obviously, EC3 is more public. I guess he was in NXT and more people probably watch TNA than Lucha, but I don't know. Ricochet is the biggest name that they have. What other way to bring him in than win the belt? I wouldn't be pissed if like the EC3 won, Adam Cole baby won. I think Adam Cole's kind of at that point. Like he hasn't lost a lot, but he's lost enough that it doesn't hurt him to lose, and he's the big enough star that if he loses, it's in this match, especially in this kind of match, it's not going to hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can see him like not winning because it's not going to kill him. Like I think he's only lost to Aleister Black, so who's contending for the fucking championship. So that didn't really hurt his credibility at all. But I don't know. Like I wouldn't like. I'd probably pop heavy if Lars Sullivan won. I think he's probably one of their biggest homegrown talents that they've pushed. And at first I wasn't really too big on it. I just the huge squash matches, but I don't know. I think like the whole fucking presentation about him, he's a freaking monster. When he comes out and they do the silhouette thing, like that's fucking sweet. Mm-hmm. His talking isn't the greatest, but I think it's something obviously they can work on. But his look, he's a freaking brick shithouse, huge. But Velveteen Dream come a long way as well. I don't think he'll win either. I think the clear-cut favorite's Ricochet. I'm gonna go with Ricochet, but I think I'll go with my non-favorite be Lars Sullivan, but I think the favorite has to be Ricochet.
Yeah, I think Lars Sullivan has got to be the dark horse here, because I think people are either saying Ricochet or EC3 just because they're the newest names in NXT. But they won't be hurt. It's a 6-man ladder match, and no one's getting pinned either. Like, this is the perfect way to introduce these people, because this will allow them to shine, have one of the best matches of the entire weekend, and not be pinned. If any one of these guys lose, they'll be fine. With NXT, you know they'll be booked just fine coming out of the show, so that's not even a concern. But with Ricochet, I gotta go with you there. I think with Ricochet, we know that he's the best wrestler in the match, and there was a lot of buzz around him coming in. EC3 too, but Ricochet is like a world-renowned name. Between Lucha and everything else he was doing over in Japan and on the indies for many, many years, the guy just fucking is a star. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, we were there at TakeOver Philly, and when they showed him at ringside, it's like, this guy's a star. Like, an absolute star. All these guys are stars. EC3, Adam Cole. But I wouldn't really be mad with any one of these guys winning. As you had said, I echo your thoughts, RJ. Killian Dane is probably my least favorite pick to win here. But pretty much anyone else I would be pumped for. Lars Sullivan will be... I think he could be like the next Braun Strowman, like the next monster done right. Not like the fucking Great Khali or Vladimir Kozlov or these fucking jokes where they get pushed for 6 months, they get bored, and they become a joke after that. Like, I hope that doesn't happen with him. This guy can really be something if they keep him in NXT for a little while longer. Don't call him up after WrestleMania and give him the Adam Rose treatment, getting called up way too soon. But he's a work in progress, but I gotta go with Ricochet. I think Ricochet, in his element, the ladder match... He calls himself the one and only. They've really been pushing that recently. The inaugural NXT North American champion. I don't know. It only makes sense to me, but I got Ricochet as well. And one side note before we move on, RJ, your thoughts on the NXT North American Championship title that was revealed by Triple H on Twitter a few days ago?
I think the title's sweet. It has like that old look of a nice 1980s belt. It looks nice. I think North American title, like it just kind of sounds like an old school kind of belt, and I think. Not that the WWE just throws W's on everything now, so I'm glad they went back to like the old like they show like the actual geographical shape of North America. I think the belt just looks sweet. I like the red, and like I said, this even like the lettering and stuff, it just looks old school, and that's kind of what the belt is. So I think it's nice, and I think the match can be great on Saturday night.
Gonna look better around the waist of Ricochet come Saturday night, though.
Seriously, wow.
Can't wait. The guy's going to be an absolute star. Like, I can't even stress that enough. EC3, same thing. The guy just sweats charisma when he comes out. Love the fact we were talking before we went live here with EC3 and the fact they don't... I mean, I'm not surprised that they don't mention the fact that he's a Carter. I mean, they mentioned Dixie Carter in that Kurt Angle documentary, but never on WWE TV, so I doubt they would even bring that up. But, you know, the whole fact that he left the company... He didn't even leave the company. He got fired. People. He got fired 5 years ago because they had no plans for him, and he was going fucking nowhere. But he took his ball. He went to TNA. You can talk shit about TNA all you want, but they made a real star out of EC3. RJ and I have talked about this many, many, many times before in the past, that if there's any one redeeming, saving grace of TNA, it was the fact that they made a star out of this man, and now he's come back and an all-new competitor and a future world champion if they push him right. I see him a lot like Bobby Roode, where he just like looks like a superstar. And if they don't turn him babyface when he gets to the main roster just because his theme song is sweet, like Bobby Roode, the guy is main roster ready any day of the week. But anyway, I got Ricochet going over here as well. And then we get to the main event for the NXT Championship. a rematch when we were at TakeOver 1 year ago between Andrade and Almas, the NXT champion, and Aleister Black battling for the NXT title. RJ, how did we get here, and who's your pick?
How did we get here? They've really predicted Black a lot. I love Black too. That hasn't lost yet. I might be faulting on that one, but I don't believe he's lost. Maybe he lost a tag team match or two. But he's never lost singles.
Yeah, I think he just lost. I think he got pinned by Gargano on that 4-way, but that was it.
Okay, but still, like, he's been on fire since his debut, and I was sour at him at first. I don't know if it was just being there live or. Oh, I didn't like love their match. I haven't watched it back since. I need to fucking do that. But I don't know, maybe being there live and maybe like, I don't even remember where on the card it was. Maybe it was middle of the card. I was like, oh, like whatever. I remember watching him in the UK tournament. They had him. He was still trying to end at that point.
Yep.
He had a good match. Couldn't even tell you who the fuck was with. But I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. But he's been on fire since his debut, and he's definitely one of the best characters they have. He's just so autonomous and. He's just a badass, like, just does what he has to do, doesn't say a lot, and just kicks people's ass, so we can't hate on that. And then since Brooklyn 3, Andrade has been on fire as well with Zelina Vega. He's had great matches with Gargano. Freaking lighting NXT on fire. The best match in NXT history. With
I would
Gargano
agree.
We went to.
Yep. The McIntyre match was really good, too.
And just I think the build so far has been good, like, him and Zelina have been going at it. Black and Zelina have had their little confrontations. And then Andrade beating the hell out of him this past week. Last week.
Yeah, last week.
Beating the piss out of Black. Something you've never seen before. And it's like he just has like that mean streak. His talking, almost talking, just I don't know. He hasn't really developed into a great talker. I don't think his English is that well. But
No, it's not.
If Zelina's by his side, I think he'll be all set. Especially if he gets if he does, I think he will lose. I think Black is clear-cut winner here. You have to give him the belt. Imagine a fucking pop. Black hitting the Black mass on fucking Almas.
Mm-hmm.
Win again. They could shock us and have Almas win again. I think he's over enough they could, but I think it would have to be some kind of like interference. Can't have Black lose clean, but I think Black's gonna win. What you do with Almas after that, I'm not quite sure. I think he's obviously main roster ready. He has to be called up with Vega, though. He can't go up by himself. He'll be fucking flashing the pan after a week after people hear how bad he is talking. His English is fucking terrible. Terrible. It's like Oscar-esque terrible English.
It's probably worse. Might be.
It's probably worse, yeah.
Definitely as bad, if not worse, yeah.
The only thing I've ever heard him say in English that was like not terrible was like NXT, and that's like 3 fucking letters. So
Yeah, exactly.
It's not really that hard to pronounce, but I think with Vega made his act just a lot better. I don't know, just talking, just her involvement alone just really helped him a lot. I don't know if it rejuvenated his thoughts or really realized that they're going to do something with him. Mm-hmm. He's a great fucking wrestler. He was kind of just like the stepping stone. Whenever a new guy came in, their first feud was with him, and they beat him every time. And I don't know if they just realized that they had a big talent with him, and then once they paired him with Vega, it really set his career up. But he's been lights out since Brooklyn 3. I think this match would be amazing. Both are really, really good wrestlers, and I have Black winning, and I think Almas from there will probably move up the main roster. Maybe they'll do a rematch, but I don't know. NXT really doesn't really do that often, a rematch after you lose the belt. So I think Almas probably get called up. If not, maybe they do North American, but I think at that point you just call him up to the main roster.
Yeah, at that point, he would have to be called up with Vega, like you said. If he doesn't, he's gonna drown. Like, from day one. He would be put with the Lucha House Party on 205 Live. He'd be the next Graham at that league and would not have a mouthpiece to speak for him. So he's got to be on Raw. I would put him on SmackDown, to be honest with you. I would put him on SmackDown, bring Ray back, re-sign him, put him on SmackDown too, maybe put over Balor or Rollins on SmackDown, help rehab that brand with those guys. But anyway, with this match, I mean, yeah, you got to go with Black here. I don't think it would ruin Aleister if they had Andrade win and avenge the loss from last year. You could tell that story. But his reign has gone on long enough. Black is obviously the one that they're grooming for that spot. He's the face of NXT. Drew McIntyre should be clear to go at some point in the next couple months. Maybe you have him come back and go heel, and then do McIntyre and Black while Almas goes to the main roster. There's a few different options because the brand has so much star power, it's ridiculous. They're not going to have 6-man ladder matches every single show for the North American title, so you have to assume one of those guys will be going for the belt at some point down the road. And the takeovers usually only have about 5 matches on the card anyway, sometimes 6. That being said, though, the match should be great. To answer your question from earlier as to whether the match was good from last year, I watched it a few weeks ago. It was good, but I think the real issue with it was the fact that you knew that Black was coming in. He wasn't going to lose. Like, who cared? And it was also the fact, from where I was sitting, my section was chanting the entire time, so it was hard to even pay attention. But when I watched the back on TV, the match was good. It was well wrestled, but it's like, Almas isn't going anywhere. The guy's a loser, and Black was the one they were grooming for that spot. But you are right, though. You've gone a complete 180 on Black, and he is something special. I would not be surprised, though, if they called him up and had him lose to Jinder Mahal in a WWE title match at some point in the next 6 months, because the guy's just that over, and that's what Vince does. And the entrance is outstanding. But, yeah, I got Black, too. I think Black is the next NXT champion. So, by our account, I think we had all the same people. We had Tommaso Ciampa, Ricochet, Undisputed Era, Shayna Baszler, and Aleister Black. If we do have new tag team champions, like I said, then we will get a stacked show of all new champs. Even if we have the only 3 that we said, then that will be the first time, I think, in NXT history, we've had 3 title changes on one takeover, which is huge. So WrestleMania should be great regardless. I thought WrestleMania last year was better than TakeOver. TakeOver was good. It was by no means great. I thought WrestleMania was better. But this should be an outstanding event nonetheless. So one last real quick question for you, RJ, before I let you go. It seems that with recent takeovers and with the takeovers over WrestleMania weekend, I answered this on hashtag a few days ago, that we've had someone standing in the crowd. 2 years ago, it was Kota Ibushi for the CWC, and Bobby Roode. Last year, it was Drew McIntyre when we were there. A few months ago, we had Ricochet, who we already knew was signed, but we also had EC3 show up in the crowd for the first time. So who do you think might, if it is a possibility, who do you think we might spot in the crowd this weekend at TakeOver?
Kids, keep me on my toes. Holy shit. Someone that could be in the crowd. I think this person's probably main roster. Should go main roster immediately, but maybe like Bobby Lashley, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think he should easily be on the main roster, but who the fuck knows? But he can still, even he is, he can still have him at TakeOver. Like, holy shit, like Bobby Lashley. But honestly, he's the only person I can really think of off the top of my head.
That's the thing, though.
There's like stats, like definitely like I don't really watch ROH or like New Japan or anything, but like he's the only like free agent that I really would know. Be like, oh, holy shit! Like I really couldn't think of anyone right off the top of my head.
Like, that's the thing. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, everyone that we've talked about in recent years, like, that person would be a perfect fit for NXT. They're there. Like, everyone that we could have ever imagined it being in NXT, the main roster, is already on the show. Like, Adam Cole, oh, that guy's going to be in NXT one day, he's here. Ricochet, he's going to be in NXT when his Lucha contract wraps up. He's here. EC3, everyone figured he was NXT bound when he left TNA, and he's here too. So, like, is there really anyone else they could even sign at this point? They don't even need any more talent, so it doesn't even matter. Even with all the call-ups, they called up 6 people from NXT to the main roster after WrestleMania. The show will be fine. They still have, like, Leo Rush waiting in the wings. They have Chris Donovan Dijak from Ring of Honor, who has yet to debut. They have so much talent, it is just unreal. Like you said, Bobby Lashley, I see him going to the main roster. That's about it. I can't think of anyone. I know I mentioned James Storm a few days ago. I don't know if they would do that with him. I don't even know if they're going to sign him. At one point, there was rumors that they weren't interested, so I'm not sure. But that's about it. Like, I can't think of... Like, is there anyone...
There's any, like, another woman they could possibly sign?
Yeah.
Not that I think that the women's division's not good, but the replenishing hasn't been, I would say, amazing. Like,
I agree.
All those women they had. They, like I said, I think obviously, like, I think the issue was, like, I think they didn't see, like, end goal for a lot of those women they just called out. They were just kind of, like, not mid-card, but, like, they just were never, like, the face of the women's division, so that's why they called them, like, DeVille. Mandy Rhodes, I think they should have, I think they kind of fucking, I don't know what the hell they did with her. They could have, I think she could have kept, maybe, like, coming to the main roster will help her career, but she could have used a little bit more seasoning in NXT. I don't think that would have killed her.
Yeah.
But Riot, like, I think Riot, like, they kind of tease her, like, maybe win a title, and she never won. So, like, kind of at that point, like, she's not going to win. Liv Morgan's fucking terrible.
Awful.
I know
TSM
will love that comment. She's fucking terrible. So, she's never. I think with all the women they've had, even like not even that great of women, they've called them up. I just think the replenishing hasn't been amazing. Like in the whole documentary, Triple H is like they wanted to take Asuka too, and I was like, can you please let me at least keep Asuka, because they got rid of everyone else. They got rid of Bayley and Becky and Sasha and Charlotte and freaking whoever else you can name. I'm probably missing a few people, but still, they called up a lot of women. I just think they just don't have that many women stars right now. Like if you get rid of Ember Moon, like I wouldn't even say she's that big of a star. Zane and Baszler, like Dakota Kai's got potential, same with Candice LeRae, but they're kind of like not that big of a name. Like they're not that big, so I think it'd be interesting they sign like a bigger women talent, but I really don't know who's out there that could be signed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really follow women's wrestling that closely. I did write an article last week of women they should sign, but it was more of like if they were available. Like Ivelisse from Lucha, I like a lot. She actually used to be in NXT a long time ago, and they fired her because Bill DeMont's a piece of shit. But they can bring her back if her contract is up at some point. Ivelisse, remember her from Lucha?
Ivelisse, love Ivelisse. She was on Tough Enough.
Yeah, she was on top. Yeah, exactly. The 2011 season. Ivelisse is awesome, which is what I'm saying. Like, they can bring her in at some point if they wanted to, if she would want to. I don't know. But they bring back all these people from NXT from 2012. They've already fucking brought back Drew McIntyre, Derek Bateman. Like, they can bring back Ivelisse. There's a few other people. There was one woman from Impact, Zack Ryder's girlfriend. She was on Tough Enough too. Her name is Chelsea Green. I think her name currently is Laurel Van Ness. They can bring her in. I think she might be free. There's really not many other people. Maya Yim or Jade from Impact. There's no big names in women's wrestling right now, I feel like. There's a lot of talented women, but there's no, like, holy shit, like Ricochet. Like, I mean, obviously Candice, but beyond Candice, it's like, holy shit, they need that woman right now. Like, we mentioned Tessa, but that's more of like a long-term thing. I just don't know of any other women that come to mind that, like, you don't watch New Japan. I don't watch New Japan, but I know who, like, Kenny Omega is and stuff like that. Like, there's no...
exactly. I know Kenny Omega is, but I couldn't tell you fucking... I don't think did they even have women wrestling in New Japan?
Yeah, they have Stardom. Not New Japan. They have, like, women's wrestling companies in Japan, but they're not as prominent. Like, I don't watch Shine or whatever it is. I don't really know. But you would think, like... I don't know. Usually there's at least one. I mean, then again, I didn't know who Asuka was before she came in, and they made her a star.
No idea who the fuck Asuka was.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, they could always pull someone from Japan. I mean, they did that with Sane, so who knows?
Yeah, that's you can also do like I said. That I didn't know fucking Sasha Banks. Right? I didn't know who any of those people were.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things that they just pick the right people and push them correctly. Like all of them, at first their characters are fucking terrible. So kind of took a whole season. Like Sasha Banks looked like she was like fucking
8 years old.
20 pounds, for Christ's sake. Like, holy shit. And Becky was step dancing like a loser.
Yep. Doing the Irish jig.
She's doing the Irish jig, for Christ's sakes. And then they fucking gave her a carrot and she ran with it. But, yeah, I think maybe, like I said, maybe they do have the right people and they just haven't fully invested in replenishing the division. Like I said, I think Dakota Kai's got potential. Same with Kairi Sane and Candice LeRae. They keep pushing Lacey Evans. I don't fucking understand why.
Yeah.
She fucking bores me to tears.
She's not that good. Yeah,
she's not. She's not even good looking.
Yeah.
I think Bianca Belair has potential. She needs to lose the fucking 10-foot hair, though. Like, that's got to be a pain in the ass.
Nikki Cross is great, but
I don't see her. I like Nikki Cross. Well, I just don't see their.
She's not someone that you run with as champion. That's the thing.
Exactly, and they've like kind of teased her. Like she's fought for the belt a few times. At that point, it's kind of like
she won't win. Yeah, they might as well call her up with Sanity at this point. Yeah,
I think that I think the brand itself's in great shape. I think like you said, their fucking men talent is ridiculous. The tag team division, they have more tag teams you can shake a stick at. I don't think they're all like great, but they have a ton of them. They have some credibility. And the women, like I said, I think they'll take a little bit more replenishing, but like I say, give it till. I'm saying, what's the next takeover? Chicago after New Orleans?
Chicago, yep.
I think by that point, the division will be replenished enough that they'll have a few stars.
What if
a few women that are at least like you're like, okay, they have potential.
Yeah.
Like I think Dakota Kai. At that point, I think she's got a great look too. I think give her a couple months and she'll be. They push her a little bit better, maybe tweak the character a little bit better. She'll be fucking NXT champion in 9 months.
I think she has that Bayley vibe to her, where she feels like an ultimate underdog type of thing. But hopefully,
don't compare her to that loser, please.
I was gonna say the bad booking did her in on the main roster.
Oh
So
my god, she's fucking who?
this is your life. This is your life, though.
Oh my, greatest segment in Raw history. Fucking
Terrible.
loser. I honestly forgot she was even in the back. I remember at fucking Royal Rumble, her music hit, and you're like, I forget, like.
I forgot she was even in the match.
She is, I'm the biggest Bailey fan I know. I forgot she was even in the match. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, that's how big of a loser she is. And she's like, not that I don't blame her, but she was like, kind of pouty in that empowered fucking 24/7. Like, it's about the moment. Like, we get it. You're gonna get tossed down in 2 seconds because you're a loser. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, the women's division, just in both brands. Like, the women in the like, there's just so many women that are doing. Becky Lynch, like, the biggest over loser in the company.
Treading
But
water.
she's over now, and she hasn't done shit in 2 years.
Yeah, she's an
Since she's
afterthought in the
lost
Battle
to
Royal,
Bliss.
unfortunately.
Since she's lost to Alexa Bliss in the I think it was 2016 TLC, she's literally done nothing.
Yeah, that's a year and a half ago.
Oh my god, like, I don't get it, but
Hey, you got...
maybe if they do these tag team things, maybe they'll make people care about these losers, but
RJ,
I'm
though.
a fucking loser as it comes.
RJ, what
He's a
about...
briefcase.
Why would you push Becky when you have Natalia in the title picture constantly?
Oh my god, who gives a flying fart? Fucking Natalia, fucking retire.
Natalia,
Go on
Charlotte, I've
TV.
seen that... I haven't seen that enough. I need to see more Charlotte and Natalia.
I need to see Charlotte and Banks again. Please,
Again,
no.
yeah, I hope they put Sasha on
Please,
SmackDown as
no.
they do that.
If you do a shake up and Banks and Charlotte on the same brand, I'm gonna fucking boycott that show. God. Oh my god.
It's bound to happen.
In WrestleMania predictions, did you say who you think Braun's partner is gonna be?
Braun's partner? I think I said...
If you said Big Show, I'm gonna fucking drive off the road on it.
Everyone has said Big Show. I talked to a few people that said Big Show. I think Big Show's, honestly, it's not the worst. Bray Wyatt has been... Bray Wyatt would be worse, I think. Big Show would not be...
No, Big Show's worse.
Well, like I said, I don't think I would, I don't think it's the worst booking decision, but here's the thing. I feel like when you put... I said this on hashtag, but when you put Big Show with Braun, I think I might have mentioned this. To me, it screams
Kane and Big Show.
Screams Big Show Kane from 2006. You put two big guys that have nothing better to do in a fucking tag team and just have them do nothing.
Tag team, though.
What?
Hey, they were pretty good, though.
Okay, they were honestly pretty good, but Braun is so over. Dude, it's ridiculous. You're gonna put this guy in the kickoff show on a tag team match no one cares about? Who gives a shit? You know, like, this guy should be competing for the world title over on SmackDown right now, not in a tag team.
I think, like, if he picked Big Show, like, no one would care. Like, you'd sit on your hands, like, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The marks might go...
would pop. I'd be like, you fucking kidding me?
The marks might go wild in New
Oh my
Orleans.
god, the stupid fucking marks that Baker,
What?
Cena, and Undertaker.
Yeah, pretty much.
Give me, I'm not asking for, I'm not asking for something amazing, but give me, Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan would be fucking sweet.
I thought when Braun said on Raw this week, he's like, oh, he's a lot like me. I'm thinking Lars Sullivan, like, maybe, but obviously it was Brainstorming, your favorite segment of the year.
Oh my god, talk about the worst segment in Raw history. Holy shit.
I don't even remember who I said for Braun's partner. Oh, I said Samoa Joe. I've been saying Samoa Joe. I don't think it's going to happen.
Joey Samoa wouldn't be terrible.
Samoa Joe, you know what? Get him on the card. Why not? Because if I heard the reports, they're going to put him against Roman after WrestleMania. He's not going to fucking win, so why bother? Who cares?
Because that's down to me. I don't know. I think either Rey Mysterio or Lars Sullivan, even Joey Samoa would be fine.
Yeah.
For the love of God, don't do the Big Show. Like,
or Kane.
Hey, fuck it. I'll take Kane. I do not want to.
No Kane. Put
Big
Kane in the
Show
Battle
right
Royal.
now was like Santino Marella. He's like a fucking anchor. Bring down your career song.
Pretty much. Anyone is better than those two choices, in my opinion. Elias, I mean, that's just too obvious to do. I don't think they'll do that. I think they've moved on from that.
Yeah, I don't think it's really that obvious recently. They really teased it all. I would love it if it was Elias.
Hey, you know what? Gets him on the card. Gives him something to do. I had read a report that said they were going to do the Elias Rock segment with all these legends coming out to interrupt Elias, but they couldn't secure Rock to the show, so they scrapped it. I don't know. I guess we'll see Sunday, but I do think Elias is still doing the concert. That's just typical ringside news, fake news bullshit right there.
Yeah. So, but I think both shows are gonna be good. So I'll also end on that great note. I don't want to be too negative.
I agree.
Too much.
Whole weekend should be awesome. I don't want to go ranking. Oh, where's it gonna rank amongst 17 in WrestleMania 3?
Oh my God, people, get over the fucking WrestleMania 17. Holy shit! Like, greatest show ever. Yeah, that gimmick battle royal was fucking sweet, huh?
Yeah, exactly. When Jim Cornette was in it and Gobbledygooker, great match.
Great match, just like China's match. A great match, great women's match. Fucking sucked. Fucking sucked. Fucking stupid old March fucking cum in their pants while WrestleMania 17. It wasn't even that good. Calm down.
Calm down, people. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think this Mania can be the greatest Mania ever of all time, or at least be regarded as such.
Kane, Big Show, and the Raven wasn't even that great. People
No.
fucking think it was the greatest match ever. Like,
Yeah.
Anything sucked. You couldn't even know what happened. You couldn't even see what happened. Fucking dust everywhere. Yeah, Raven could have fucking pinned Big Show at that point. No. God, I hate the WrestleMania 17 fucking marks. Like, never beat it. Like, calm the fuck down. The show wasn't that good.
Yeah. Not every match was a masterpiece. People say, like, the whole show was great.
They act like the show was so great.
Yeah. Austin beating Rock for the title. Great match, don't get me wrong, but it's like Austin going heel, killed the business. Literally killed the business. That's why it was like the end of the Attitude Era, because everyone who liked Stone Cold was like, fuck this. He aligned with McMahon. I'm going away. I won't watch anymore. And people regard that as the greatest Mania moment ever. It's like, you kidding me?
Yeah, dumbass decision. I don't know what the fuck to that. But
very stupid decision.
That's like the other day when they asked, like, which of these moments was the biggest? And, like, the streak ending, and like there was like 3 other stupid moments. I'm like, if you don't say the streak, then you're fucking retarded. I'm sorry. Like the other ones, like they were like I couldn't even tell you what they were because they were so bad. Like maybe they're like Rollins cashing in, like okay maybe like that's like that and like the streak could get like back and forth, but like there were 3 moments. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was like Santino tagging with Kane to beat the Core or something stupid like that.
Like Kane being Chavo at WrestleMania 24.
I think that was on there, to be
like,
honest. Yeah.
Shit.
Who cares? Who gives a shit? But this Mania should be good, though. Stacked. Absolutely stacked. Start to finish, top to bottom. TakeOver 2. That's why we're talking here. The whole show is amazing. Cannot wait. Hall of Fame should be fine, too. Post WrestleMania Raw, SmackDown. Absolutely stoked. On that note, Mr. Marceau, already got your ticket secured for WrestleMania 35?
Already booked. Everything booked. Raw, SmackDown, Hall of Fame, NXT.
Main event, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, everything?
Yeah, everything. Everything's booked. Everything's booked already.
Perfect. Hotel, shows, tickets, access, flight, car, whatever, rental car.
Yeah, all the shows booked. Everything's ready.
Perfect. Cannot wait. I'll see you in New Jersey, New York in 1 year's time. Enjoy WrestleMania, brother. Before I let you go, any cheap plugs and where can the people find you on the Twitter machine?
Just find me on Twitter at RJ_Marceau. I don't know if I'll be watching TakeOver live. I don't know yet. I'm working, so I might not watch it live. But I'll be watching WrestleMania live, and I'll probably live tweet. And if it sucks, I'll definitely live tweet so I can shit all over it. But I'll definitely be on the Twitter machine this weekend. Giving my 2 cents on everything that's happening.
Love the 2 cents. Love Mr. Marceau's 2 cents. You can follow him on the Twitter machine, as he had said, at RJ_Marceau for his ranting thoughts on Big Show being named Braun Strowman's tag team partner on Sunday. So if only to see that reaction in the Twitterverse, you can check him out on Twitter and follow him there. So that being said, sir, thanks for coming on the show. As always, been awesome, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you later, GSM.
All right, I'll catch your ass down the road. Peace.